Oklahoma's first possession of the day. Jarrell Jackson across midfield and down to the 46-yard line with Trevor Matich. And the third member of our trio down on the field on this sunny day, Lewis Johnson. I'm Paul Kennedy. So Oklahoma comes out moving the football. Close to 33 yards in 3 snaps for Heupel in this very multiple Sooner attack. Louisville on its first possession drives the length of the field, holds onto the ball for 14 plays, and misses a 39-yard field goal. Chris Hammonds, the tight end, shifting. Thornton off the counter with a block and belted back at the 45-yard line. The Cardinals will lay the hat on you. Here's how they look up front. Mike Gamtos has started more games this senior, the strongest man up front than any other Cardinal. The 3-man linebacking core features Rashad Harris nearing 300 tackles in his career. And in the secondary, Antonio Roundtree, so important. We'll check out his physical condition with that sore right shoulder now for the junior. 3rd and short. In motion, Curtis Fagan. Thornton on second effort, perhaps, into the waiting arms of Donovan Arp, the defensive tackle, but he hit it up in there well.
Second effort carried it forward, Paul, and what you're going to see out of strategy here from Thornton and from this offense, as we look at Thornton's numbers, is a West Coast style of offense where they will run the ball all over, left, right, wide. They'll run it up the middle, but their passing game will be primarily short. Oklahoma will try to throw screen passes, crossing routes at 5, 6, 7 yards deep and force Louisville's defense to come up and make the tackle. If they don't, then it's up to the receiver to bust it for a big play after the catch. And what Louisville wants to do in terms of strategy is exactly to allow those 5, 7-yard receptions, but come up and make that tackle.
Mike Leach, the offensive coordinator, dressed in black. Bobby Stoops alongside him. 4 down territory. They need less than a yard. Heupel appears to have it. Waited a while, hoping that Louisville would give him a break and jump. Ran right behind his center, and Matt O'Neill. And it's a first down for Oklahoma.
It's just surge right here, and you can see those white jerseys moving forward. Number 71 right here, look at that. Moving the pile, that's Jay Smith, 290-pound guard. 4th and inches, they ought to be able to get that.
Last year, Oklahoma played 5 different men at quarterback. This year, they hope Heupel is the answer. A pause in the action from sunny Kentucky today, the Big 12 and Conference USA. This may not be the largest stadium in all of college football, but it might very well be the prettiest, the nicest. Very posh is Papa John Cardinal Stadium. Skyboxes, suites, and the home to John L. Smith's Louisville Cardinals. Scoreless midway through our opening quarter. Heupel and the Sooners have run the ball, attempted only 1 pass, coming off their 22-yard line. Here's their first possession of the day. In motion, Brandon Daniels. To Daniels on the end around. The former Oklahoma quarterback inside the 40 to the 39. A game break to our College Football Saturday studios and Kevin Frazier.
Paul, Cincinnati continues to play well at Ohio State in the 3rd quarter, 24-17 Buckeyes. Steve Belisario on the keeper, runs it in and scores from 11 yards out. Buckeyes win 34-20, but not a bad day for the Bearcats.
Right, Kevin, back-to-back performances. Ron Dane in Wisconsin upended last week, and today they play Ohio State pretty tough. 2nd down. Heupel upstairs, if he can, and he cannot. Sacked back at the 46-yard line. Donovan Arp, a former junior college teammate at Snow, JC, racks up Heupel.
He's going to be working on Bubba Bertram, the right guard, and he just comes right around in just a power move around the corner. And Arp is a guy that has added incredible stability, along with Gantos, to the center of this line. And they expect those two guys, 74 Gantos and 79 Arp, on that sack right there, to really stuff up the middle of this Oklahoma offensive front. As you can see him come around on the blind side of a left-handed quarterback.
Third down now, and very long. Hit as he throws, incomplete. It was Arp again. Heupel never saw the heat from his former teammate.
And Heupel is a former teammate of Arp at Snow, like you said, Paul, and coming around that corner. Arp is not used to having a quarterback blind to him. Arp is usually in the face of a quarterback who is right-handed, rushing from that side of the defensive front. But he was able to take his buddy from Snow College down twice in a row, coming from his blind side. Left-handed quarterback, Josh Heupel.
There's Jeff Ferguson. You see his average. And he'll be kicking to Arnold Jackson. He hit this very well. It will land 8 yards into the end zone. Louisville begins at its 20. So far, a defensive struggle in Papa John Stadium. Here's John Smith on that man, his quarterback, Chris Redmond.
He's a blessed kid. He's got tremendous talents. I think as I take a look at that, his number one, he's very, very accurate with the football. I mean, he can throw it on a dime. I think, again, his ability to get the ball out of his hands, he's got a great release. He can get it out of his hand now. And maybe the thing that is the best is his toughness, his competitiveness, his ability to stand in, to take a hit, to throw it where he has to throw it, when we need a big play, to put it on the money. So he's quality. What a great individual, and a great representative for not only our football program, but for the university and the city and the state.
And on the roll, and throwing, open, Boyd at midfield, juggled and dropped the ball. He had a step and a half on the defender, Ante Jones, the strong safety.
Well, they're giving the offensive line help to keep them clean here, Paul. This time they moved the pocket for the first time in the game.
Jones may have pulled a groin there, too. He's hobbling off.
And he's a great athlete back there, one of those guys that can close. Boyd was able to get open that time because he had time, and this is not good for Oklahoma. Ante Jones, a guy with great potential and with great presence on the field right now.
Frank Moreau cuts back across the 25, out to the 27-yard line. Frank Moreau in this game again, ranked 5th in all the nation in running the football.
And who would have thought, Paul, because the last several years in his career, one thing or another went wrong, and Moreau didn't help himself. He didn't help himself by really doing things in practice at his own pace rather than the coach's pace. And he never was able to take the bull by the horns and take command of that starting job. This year, people around the Louisville Cardinal athletic department are saying that Frank Moreau is showing more urgency than he ever has, and Paul, 5th in the nation in rushing has been the result so far.
As you check out scores on this final Saturday in September around the country, and other action coming up, and flags as Louisville broke the huddle with 12 players. Illegal substitution, flagged to Zeke Parker. This year in college football, with all the packages that offensive coordinators want to run, you cannot break a huddle with more than 11 players, and Louisville broke it with 12.
Yeah, you can't do that because it confuses the defense.
Redmond drove his team 14 plays in the opening series today. Connected on 5 out of 6 through the air.
They had pretty good protection most of the time. He got hit a couple of times. But other than that, he's pretty much open. Now, we've got all the shots of the defense getting to him there.
Third down now. Throws, caught, tough catch, Jackson. Again, Pee Wee Woods goes for the football and misses. It's a gain of 15.
Well, Paul, good protection. Redmond's able to step up. And it looks like it was close, but this is another shot where with good protection and the ability to follow through with the ball, you'll see Redmond deliver the ball with velocity that'll dictate that only Jackson has a chance to get close to it. Now, as this ball comes in, yeah, it's tight coverage, but not tight enough.
Moreau to the 46-yard line. Ante Jones is back in the game and able to make the stop on the senior Frank Moreau.
Well, there he showed some of that speed we were talking about, Paul. He had to run about 10, 15 yards to his right before the lane opened up, and he had the speed to get there before the pursuit could get to him. Frank Moreau has a chance to have a special season because his confidence has caught up with his size and his ability.
Off to a solid start. On the wing now. In motion was Sheffield. They'll swing the ball out to him. Able to fight for the first down. Slipped away from William Barty. On the first. The National Football League comes your way on Fox Sports Net tomorrow, including the Lions quarterback Charlie Batch. What a start for the Lions. They beat Seattle. They down the Packers. And the Batch bunch. 2-0 on the year. Great start for him. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern. Here on Fox. Here are Charlie's numbers. Sylvester Kroon, the offensive coordinator there for Bobby Ross, calling those plays, doing it without number 20. Barry Sanders. Pretty sweet feed here for Moreau to carry the ball down to the 43-yard line. He got 5 more. This is coming in 5 and 10-yard chunks for Moreau and the Cardinals.
It is, and this will keep that blitz slowed down. Take a look at how he cuts off the block of John Grivna. Big John's right here, number 71. And look at Moreau's eyes. He's going to stretch, 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 and now cut up inside. And that's how a running back can make an offensive lineman look really, really good.
You know, the patience that he has and the end result, those 3 performances, the 188 against Tennessee Chattanooga, a career high. Redmond patted down at the line of scrimmage. Knocked down. Incomplete. May have been Barry Holloman out there who got an arm up. And Barry, the sophomore, may have been the man. Another look.
Well, Holloman's at 6'4". He's right here. And look at him get that hand up in the air. He's their tallest defensive lineman. And for him to be able to get up there, that just closes off the passing lane, Paul.
And just his 3rd collegiate game as a starter. Over the middle. What a tough catch that is for Lavelle Boyd in triple coverage. Another first down for Louisville. And that was rifled in there too.
It was rifled in. Another example of how Redmond can dictate with the velocity of his ball. And throwing it to Boyd at 6'3", 205 over the middle is something that Redmond has become very, very comfortable with. He says that there are very few guys that are as special as Boyd to have the talent to make that play consistently.
Chris, with his 9th completion, now needs 6 yards for 10,000 in his career. First on the ground. Collision at the 28-yard line. And Rocky Kalmus with the resounding hit, a weak side linebacker.
Well, I am really liking what I'm seeing here with Frank Moreau. That time he read Torrance Marshall, the middle linebacker, blitzed, stunted to the outside to the right. Moreau saw that as it was happening and cut it right back up the middle where Torrance Marshall would have been had he not stunted.
The Cardinals' biggest key, they told us today, to be able to run the ball first. They've done that so far. Green on the motion. Not this time, though. Torrance Marshall fills the hole nicely. The leading tackler coming into this game for the Sooners had 11 last week, and the conference win over Baylor.
Well, Marshall will be a lot of fun to talk about today. He's a guy that runs a 4.43 40, a 240-pound middle linebacker. Paul, he didn't play football the last 2 years. He graduated high school, went to Dade Community College in Miami, didn't have football there. Bob Stoops knew about him in high school, called him up, invited him to play at Oklahoma.
3rd down. This is where the drive stalled the first go-around for Redmond. He pumps. It'll stall again. Down he goes, Rocky Kalmus, the linebacker blitzing. teams with Ramon Richardson, the defensive tackle. And it is 4th down.
Well, you're going to see a blitz come around the blind side. Williams, Kalmus are both going to come. There's Williams. And that pump fake by Redmond meant that it was a long route down the field. And you can't hold the ball for a long route when a safety blitz is coming off the corner. That was a good defensive call.
4th and 9, as you see, Louisville is going to go for it. The line to reach the 23, and they may have taken too much time. And now a late hit will draw more flags. Corey Collins for Oklahoma hits Redmond clearly after the whistles had been blown. The personal foul call. First you have the delay of game, and then the personal foul. Does this give Louisville a 1st down? Our referee, John Lewis.
Before the snap, delay of game on the offense. After the play was over, personal foul defense, personal foul on the offense. By rule, the penalty's canceled.
The personal foul call is counterbalanced by a delay of game.
Let's listen to this hit, Paul.
And there's the flag. You would believe that the personal foul call would supersede a delay of game.
Ordinarily it would, but they called a offsetting personal foul against Louisville. And so those two canceled each other, and that's why the delay of game held sway.
Chris Savore, an 18-year young freshman, to hit it from midfield and try and pin the Sooners deep. It'll just make the end zone despite the hustling efforts of Antonio Roundtree. 2 long drives by Louisville, one of 14 yards, another of a dozen, and they both stall deep in Oklahoma territory. College football Saturday, what a day this is. Nebraska and Missouri just ahead. Is this the day the Tigers finally get the Cornhuskers for the first time in a quarter century, and the Trojans of USC at Oregon? You recall a year ago, 2 years ago in Missouri, miraculous play, Nebraska escaped a winner. Heupel unloading here on 1st down to Michael Thornton out of the backfield. Thornton just his 5th reception of the year. They don't throw to him all that often, but they do now.
They do now, and that's part of spreading the field.
We've reached the end of a surprisingly scoreless first quarter. Oklahoma and Louisville on Fox Sports Net. College football Saturday from Louisville, the home of the Louisville Slugger. And today the Louisville Cardinals, Oklahoma, and you can see the berating is being laid on Corey Collins for that personal foul call. Brett Venables, the co-defensive coordinator, giving him a earful.
Well, you can't give another set of downs to Chris Redmond. And had there not been an offsetting personal foul on Louisville that time around, he would have had a shot in the red zone of scoring a touchdown instead of having to punt.
We open up the second quarter today on Fox Sports Net with Trevor Maddich, Lewis Johnson. I'm Paul Kennedy. Only 2 completions so far. Now Josh Heupel looking for a 3rd. And he has this at the 30-yard line. Rashad Holman up quickly to make the stop on Antoine Savage, who touches the ball for the first time today. And there are the numbers so far. Surprisingly little for Oklahoma, but Louisville has dominated the clock.
Now look at that time of possession. That's incredible for Louisville. And Paul, no points at the end of first quarter. I would have thought you were nuts if you'd have told me before this game that neither team would score before now.
Heupel again throwing, this time Brandon Daniels, another first down. Let's update you on another Big 12 score. And here's Kevin Frazier.
Paul, number 15, Kansas State in a world of trouble, down 28-7 at the half in Ames against Iowa State, but they scored 28 points in the second half, shut down the Cyclones, and sneak away with the 35-28 win.
They were there in a score that would be most important to a couple of Sooners here. Used to serve on that staff, the brothers Stoops, Mike and Bobby. Heupel's warming up now. And he finds Brandon Daniels. Again, Daniels entering this game had 3 catches in 2 games. He now has 3 today. As you see, Louisville leads college football in scoring, but they have been shut out, to Oklahoma's credit so far.
They have, and for Oklahoma to do this through the air is just a brand new world. Southern.
See Southern Cal tonight on Fox Sports Net. Louisville shows blitz. Here they come. Out into the flat. They pop this to Daniels. Daniels now a major part of a new wrinkle here out of the slot for the Sooners to open the second quarter. Antonio Roundtree on the stop.
Oh, just sort of a wide receiver screen. Antoine Savage throws a really nice block out here. Take a look as it goes out. Now as the ball comes out to the right of your screen, look at number 6, Savage, right there. Throw an outstanding block, and that's what frees up Daniels to get up that sideline.
And the Boomer Sooners are rolling now, hunting for what would be their first scores. Heupel checks the play. Juggled, picked off, intercepted Rashad Holman. Back to the middle of the field. And down to the 39-yard line. The first turnover of this game, the pass appeared to be deflected by Bud Herring, the linebacker.
Yeah, it gets deflected up in the air, and either the receiver or the corner could come down. And that's when Holman comes down with this, and now it's just a punt return. Take a look at this cut back across. This is a guy that wants to score. It goes up in the air, tip, catch, and I'll tell you what, Paul, when a defensive back gets the ball in his hands, he might not have another chance to score a touchdown.
His second interception, the first turnover of this game, and a flag is thrown in behind Frank Moreau. May have holding again, the umpire.
What I say right there?
Bob Holliday tossed it in. Yes, it is holding. Our officiating crew today, assigned by the Big 12 Conference, is Holman, the junior from Louisville. On the phone upstairs to his defensive coordinator, Chris Smalin.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
The third penalty so far on Louisville. Oklahoma's done a nice job of corralling, containing somewhat Chris Redmond. He gets down deep, has twice, but so far nothing on the scoreboard to show for it. A long throw all the way downfield to the 35-yard line to Zeke Parker. Zeke may be the fastest Cardinal in this stadium today, and you have to respect that.
When they line him up in the slot, that means that the fastest defensive back is not the one that's going to cover him. He's on the left hash, throwing all the way back over to the right. That's a long ways to throw a football. And again, Paul, you can see how close defensive backs are to these receivers when Redmond hits them. That's the difference between a quarterback who's accurate and one who's not.
With that completion, too, Chris Redmond now has surpassed 10,000 in his career. Rocky Kalmus rolls down Moreau at the 25, the linebacker on the stop. So congratulations to Chris Redmond, who becomes only the 14th player in the history of the college game to reach 10,000.
Look at those people ahead of him. Cade McNown, Doug Flutie, some big names there, and he's got 3 yards before he passes McNown, and so he'll rise up above on that list in this game.
sets the screen, and Moreau appeared as if he was held by Cornelius Bruton. Bruton perhaps just good coverage by the defensive end and captain. It's draped all over. He sniffed that out. Did Burton.
Take a look here. Here comes Burton up here. Moreau's going to block him, then leak out. But what's going to happen is Burton is not going to take the fake. Burton is saying, okay, that's a screen. I'm not going to bite.
Yeah, he had a pretty good fist of that red jersey, though, did Burton?
Yes, he did. That's why they wear those big gloves. Keeps their fingernails on their fingers.
Blitz is on. Ivan Green to the 20-yard line. No Cardinal in history has scored more often than Ivan Green. And now staking records today for receptions and yardage in his Cardinal career.
Well, Ivan Green, big and strong, and creates mismatches. He's able to drag whoever's trying to tackle him. In these 2 years right here, he led the nation for tight ends in receptions. #1 in the country, Ivan Green.
Third down. A flag down. Sheffield somehow held on to that football at the 11-yard line. He is down in a heap. His world was rocked, but he still had the football. Let's sort out Rodney Rodeau. Illegal formation, the call, though, against Louisville. Listen to this blast from Rodeau.
That was just a head-on collision. Stopped cold. There was no angle, no glancing blow there. Rodeau just laid it on him. But Sheffield's a tough guy to hit. He's 195 pounds, 3% body fat. When you're going to hit Sheffield, as Rodeau just did, you're going to hit a guy that isn't going to have a lot of cushion on him.
And Sheffield shake it up. The 4th flag now on Louisville. Oklahoma's yet to be penalized. First down, Jackson. Just outside the 10-yard line. The deepest penetration for either team.
And Paul, look at how he completes this ball right over the arms of Williams. Just barely. Trajectory on that throw is what made it happen. And Redmond is happy with his work right there. You'll see that. Different kinds of balls from this guy. Great control.
Redmond, 14 completions, 118 yards. Moreau, tough running there. Kalmus and Ante Jones can play both in the secondary and up as a linebacker, number 11. Pretty versatile, teaming this time.
Ante Jones has been hurt a lot and is just now working back in and learning this new defense of Bob Stoops. And he missed most of spring training, most of the summer. And so for him to be in this game right now means that they're confident with his knowledge of the system.
Louisville can earn a first at the 2-yard line. Redmond batted down at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. Corey Collins, Barry Holloman. They are getting pushed today. That's the second time we have seen it. And those hands go up against the Cardinal offensive line.
They are getting pushed, and that's part of the strategy here, Paul. They want to disrupt the rhythm of Chris Redmond. And part of the way to do that is to push the interior of the offensive line back into Redmond's face and get the hands up in the air. You don't have to hit him every time.
Possession snap, 3rd and 9. The 9th play following the interception by Louisville. Redmond tipped at the line, incomplete. It's 4th down. Again, Oklahoma has held on. They have been shoved about between the 20s and the 10s, but they've yet to surrender points to Chris Redmond.
And they've been hitting Chris Redmond. Remember last week, he threw the ball 61 times, got hit 29 of those times. And Redmond has been on the ground a lot so far in this first half.
This will be a 27-yard try by John Hilbert, who missed from 39 earlier. And we finally have our first point. 6 minutes into the second quarter. The Cardinals by a field goal, playing at home against the Sooners. Oklahoma defense. And the Jackie Shipp, defensive ends coach, surrendered but 3 points today in Louisville in ball control fashion. Finally, this John Hilbert 27-yard field goal on our Buick scoring drive following 10 plays by Coach Smith's offense.
Both defenses have got to be thrilled to death to keep each of those offenses out of the end zone.
Hilbert got all of this. Hardcore football this Tuesday will feature former All-Pro linebacker Seth Joyner as the guest, a 3-time Pro Bowler, retiring last year after only starting 1 year for the Denver Broncos. What a great career he had, 13 times. 3-time All-Pro, 13-year NFL career.
Guy in a position where he took a lot of hits. I mean, whenever anything was going on loud and down and dirty, he was in the middle of it.
Oklahoma right in the middle of this with Josh Heupel at the helm. Open. Found Brandon Daniels. And Brandon Daniels, who has played a variety of positions in his career. He was, of course, one of 5 quarterbacks last year for Oklahoma. He's also played in the secondary. Maybe wide receiver is his home.
Well, he was the top option quarterback coming out of high school, but he knew that his chance to go on to the next level in the NFL would be a wide receiver. And so they moved him to wide receiver, moved him back to quarterback, and now finally they put him back in this his senior year to the position he thinks he's most comfortable in.
Heupel throws his way again, and he's able to make the 5-yard over-the-shoulder catch in front of the linebacker, Rashad Harris. So Daniels now with 5 receptions on the day and better than 60 yards for a senior.
Well, 8 for 10 for Heupel. This is that West Coast offense. Dink it down the field, and that's why that completion percentage is so high. He hasn't really thrown a long pass yet.
Mark it as a gain of 4. Motion on the outside, no flags. And this is Michael Thornton demonstrating why a man who's 5'5" can play this game. The leading rusher for Oklahoma here drives the ball hard. And then big Stocker McDougal at 6'5" helps him up.
Well, take a look how this thing just opens up, and then Thornton is just going to come right up through the gap. Look at that space in there. There's a lot of air. And he's a little guy that can squirt, kind of like a little Barry Sanders kind of guy that can get up into the hole before the defense can react to it.
You see that play there, the game 10, typical of Oklahoma's history. Very little inside. Bud Herring there, Chad Lee, freshman defensive end. Bradenton, Florida, his first tackle of the day. He was a late signee, just signed this summer. It was Chad Lee, but they were hoping to redshirt him. They have put him in today, and obviously the red shirt is going to go by the board. Quick hitch, Sheffield. A flag in behind him as he earns an apparent first down. Justin Thomas, the strong safety, on the stunt.
I think they call a pick there on Curtis Fagan. This is that little wide receiver screen that they ran successfully earlier in the game, Paul. And it looked like this time, however, it turned out to be more of a pick than a screen.
And then John Lewis,
Illegal block in the back on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Remains second down.
First flag today against Oklahoma.
The idea there is to line up 3 wide receivers out to the right side of your screen here. And right there is your problem. You've got Fagan working on Michael Brown out there, but he hits him in the back. And it's that second time that he hit him in the back that the ref threw the flag.
A 4-receiver formation. And Thornton alongside his quarterback against a 3-man rush. Over the middle, caught and breaking free is Josh Norman. To the 10, the 5. Norman and the men from Norman. Touchdown. 52 yards. The run and catch by Josh Norman from Josh Heupel.
Well, Paul, there's a lot of receivers on this Oklahoma team that have never played wide receiver before in their life. Josh Norman was an I-back in high school, might have caught 10 passes the whole time last year, played on special teams mostly. Now, dangerous as a wideout.
Duncan's extra point is good. And Oklahoma leads 7-3. 52 yards. Josh to Josh. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by CDW. CDW, computing solutions built for business. The longest pass play of the season so far. Josh Heupel, 52 yards for a touchdown to Josh Norman.
Norman's going to come in from the left side of your screen, and you're going to be able to see Jeremy Collins right here coming in for the kill shot, and there's Justin Thomas, and they're both going to miss and run into each other. And then there's nothing but real estate in front of Josh Norman. That's a nice little move there, and support from his wide receiver buddies blocking downfield.
Josh Norman, the only Sooner to have caught more than one touchdown pass so far this year. He now has 3. He's got a touchdown in all 3 games for the Sooners. Arnold Jackson runs up to this, takes it away. That's Zeke Parker out across the 27-yard line. While we have a moment, recent Hall of Famer inductee Lawrence Taylor goes one-on-one with Chris Myers on Going Deep Sunday at 9 on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. LT, of course, elected to the Hall of Fame the first time he was eligible. Talks about life after football. And for Lawrence, as you know, that's been almost as challenging as his years on the gridiron. Not more so. With Chris. Very intriguing Sunday. First down here, how does Louisville respond? Ivan Green on the move. Moreau attracting attention. Rocky Kalmus, a real sticker. Became a starter midway through the season a year ago to number 20 for Oklahoma. And just his presence inside gives this defense an attitude.
It does give it an attitude because that presence, Paul, is not just mental, but physical. He will throw his body around, and that's inspirational to the guys in the huddle to see a guy giving it up like that.
A little tougher to run now against Oklahoma. Moreau's last 2 carries have both lost yardage. Redmond gonna scramble and floats, and that's caught. Boyd, and he gets a block, a helmet-shattering block, and takes it on the chin at the 24. This is a game for men today. 52 yards, and buckle up those chin straps.
Well, there's good coverage downfield. Good protection to start with, but when there's such good coverage, Redmond knows he better bug out. But he's got the presence to look for the crossing route all the way across. Now look at this block coming up. Boom! Wow! That's Pee Wee Woods, number 4, and that's Carroll, number 84, that just drilled him. Now look at the elbow at the end right here. Right there in the chin. I don't think Oklahoma likes it that Sheffield made such a big play on that.
Rodney Rideau, the biggest play of the day for the Cardinals, of course, of 52 yards.
Well,
and there's Rodney being assisted, the captain of the Sooner secondary.
Alan Carroll, he's only 165 pounds, number 84, but look at this drill. Right, oh, helmet off. Well, those things are welded on your head. And then here comes the elbow to the head of Boyd, right there by Rideau. Boy, these teams are going to start to get a little angry with one another right now, Paul. Up until now, it's been a matter of technique. It's been a matter of passing game. It's been a matter of chess match as we see Rideau limp off the field. But right now, it looks like it's about to get personal.
Well, if you're going to play for Bobby Stoops, you're going to have a nose for the football and hit. Brilliant defensive coordinator, regarded in some circles as a genius when he teamed with Steve Spurrier, and they had the #1 ranked defense in the SEC last year. Bring him and his style of play to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma leads The Redbirds have threatened repeatedly, have only a field goal to show. The ball is batted away for a third time today at the line of scrimmage. And Redmond saying to his coach, I don't know what's happening here. Ramon Richardson, number 91, may have gotten this.
Well, there's that push again. See, these little dump-offs, as we see Richardson get up in the air, are something that Oklahoma and Bob Stoops saw on film. And so they coached their defensive line this week to stay in their rushing lanes and get their hands up in the air because they knew they could knock down some of those low dump-offs over the middle.
Second down and 10. The sun at his back. The receivers may have a tough time in this part of the field. Redmond pumps, comes back, wide open, Parker, touchdown. Redmond looks off the defense and finds Zeke alone in the end zone. Gilbert to attempt the extra point. This is rounding into form, isn't it? A 52-yard Oklahoma touchdown strike. Louisville comes roaring back and flies into the end zone from 22 yards out.
At the break, make sure you stay put for the Nissan Halftime Report. We'll get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from around the nation. Plus, we'll preview the game that got Kellen on pins and needles, his beloved Missouri Tigers hosting 4th-ranked Nebraska. But right now, let's get back to Louisville.
Kevin, and this is starting to round into form. All 17 points scored in a lively second quarter. And Chris Redmond hurling his first touchdown pass of the day.
And Chris Redmond can work a defense, Paul, and he worked it this time around.
Look at our National Car Rental game summary, Trev.
Boy, look at those passing yards. 192, 132. We're partway through the second quarter, folks.
This ought to be a lot of fun. Great day for flying. This Louisville Air Show. John Hilbert kicking it out of the end zone. What a great pump fake by Chris Redmond to free Zeke Parker.
That's Arnold Jackson he faked to. That's their #1 receiver. Parker, one-on-one to Woods, is where the ball ends up going. Now, as he looks to his right, he's looking at Arnold Jackson, their best receiver. He still looks to that side, and by the time he comes back with the time and protection to do so, Pee Wee Woods, #4, is completely turned around. And take a look at the way that Zeke Parker looks this ball into his arms. It's got a long ways to travel before it gets to him, and he knows he's open.
Josh Heupel, the 11th touchdown pass of the season, incidentally, for Redmond. Now Heupel wants to go deep, and he overshoots Jarrell Jackson. Jackson without a reception so far today. The senior from Houston, Texas.
Well, they threw that ball in a place where they're not used to, Paul. I mean, Louisville's used to going down the field. Most of Oklahoma's big plays are going to be short catches with the run after the catch. And so that time it was a long one that they're not really used to completing in a game.
On the end around now, Brandon Daniels. Second time they have handed him the ball, sweeping the end. Baseball Thursday. The Braves and the Mets, Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on Fox Sports Net. Padres and the D-backs, and then on Friday a very special edition. The Cubs and the Cards. Home run derby. And the Diamondbacks, the Padres, a quick check of the standings here. You can see a week remaining. Who will be the men of October? Third down. Heupel, he fumbled the ball. Who is at the bottom of the stack? It belongs to Louisville.
And Paul, who gets him but his former teammate at Snow College, Donovan Arp, is going to come right around the corner over here, working on Bubba Burcham. And number 79 hits him in the blind side. Remember, a right-handed quarterback will see that coming. Left-handed, that's someplace that he cannot see when he gets hit like that. And you can't blame the quarterback for dropping that ball in a situation like that.
The second turnover committed by the Sooties. Moreau. Wrapped down by Kalmus, who is making a significant number of tackles today, sideline to sideline. Got him around the collar.
And Kalmus is a real strong guy, you know, and covers a lot of ground. He does both. I mean, he's just a sophomore, but when he finishes growing up, this guy's going to be a dominant football player in the Big 12.
Well, you say growing up, that's a good point. I mean, he's just 2 years removed from Jenks High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where he led that team to a state crown. A lot of growing to do. Gain of about a yard. Miscommunication between Jackson and the defensive back Mike Woods, who did a great job for Oklahoma on the corner. When you're a cornerback trying to defend Arnold Jackson, you have your hands full.
And you've got to stay close to him, because if you don't, Redmond has the accuracy to squeeze it in there. An NFL quarterback, Paul, can put a ball in to a receiver who's only open by about 15 inches. Put your hands 15 inches apart. Well, Redmond is a guy that can get the ball in to that kind of tight coverage. Jackson's a tough guy to stay that close to.
Jackson to the bottom of your screen on third down. For the end zone. For Boyd. Batted away. Incomplete. Pee Wee Woods broke on the ball. And a fine defensive play from the other quarter.
Paul, here's the thinking on trajectory. We've talked about the kind of ball that Redmond will throw. The problem is the ball has to go over the top of the defense, and so he can't drill it. It's got to float, and that gives the other guys times to get there. And because of that, his poor receiver took one heck of a shot right there.
A 35-yard try by Hilbert following the fumble recovery. And it is good. Hilbert kicks his second field goal of the game, and the lead swells to 6. Louisville's Hilbert kicks him deeper and deeper, and now out of the end zone and into the waiting Cardinal band as we near halftime. I remind you the Nissan halftime report with Kevin and Kellen just ahead.
Once you get your hands set on it, once you got them under control, you got to start finishing their ass. Okay? Finish them, and then we'll be in good shape.
Well, that's Art Valero, offensive line coach. His strategy is Roberto Duran's. If you kill the body, the head will die. That's what he means by finishing it. Don't let him up.
Under center, Matt O'Neill now. Pressure throwing incomplete, intended for Brandon Daniels. And again, heat coming from Donovan Arp, number 79, who helps up his former teammate, who he knows so well. A couple of sacks and a forced fumble in the first half alone.
Donovan Arp has been all over his former teammate, and he's been responsible for some of the points scored from Louisville because of field position issues with the turnovers and forcing punts because of third and long situation. I mean, this guy, number 79, Donovan Arp, has probably been Louisville's best offensive weapon so far today.
That is Salt Lake City. That line shifts right toward Thornton, who bounces off tacklers and gets 3. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast crew. Here's Lewis Johnson.
Well, Paul, it was not a pretty sight just a few moments ago down here on the Oklahoma sideline. Offensive coordinator Mike Leach grilling his players, and it was pretty simple in what he told them. He said, look, he said, this ought to be impossible for us to play like we're playing. He said that we should be scoring every time we come down the field, and the problem is you don't believe it.
Kentucky was the top-ranked SEC offense with Tim Couch a year ago. Now, of course, he joins Bobby Stoops. Third down. Over the middle, incomplete. The tight end and Chris Hammond could not hold on. Michael Brown with that shot, and Oklahoma will punt it away.
And Paul, here's why that defense of Louisville is doing so well. They played against Kentucky's offense last year and again this year, and know that if you blitz it, you give up big plays. If you hold back in a zone and allow balls to be completed underneath, you force that offense to have patience, and right now the patience is on the side of the Louisville defense.
Jeff Ferguson's first effort sailed 45 yards. This one he has shanked. It bounces and will just reach the Oklahoma 40-yard line.
And Paul, that's the same thing that Baylor did last week when they played Oklahoma. They started out by blitzing, gave up 21 first quarter points, then backed out. Louisville is backing out now.
Just a 16-yard punt. Coming up at halftime with Kevin and Kellen on our Nissan halftime report. Scores, highlights, Indiana in Big Ten action, of course, at the base of Mount Nittany today. And the numbers from this one. Conference USA against the Big 12. Great fake by Redmond. Parker. And Ivan Green away from the football. Is shaken up at the 35-yard line.
Well, Zeke Parker is going to be in Pee Wee Wood's nightmares tonight, I think. He's just really winning this battle. As we look at Ivan Green, who is a critical part of this offense, not just on the field, but in terms of being the heart and soul of it off of it.
The training staff on to attend to the most prolific receiving tight end college football in the senior from Louisville.
And he's been used today, Paul, more as a decoy than anything else. Zeke Parker has been getting the benefit of the focus of the Oklahoma defense on number 6 Ivan Green and on their top wideout Arnold Jackson.
The appreciation shown by the 40,000 here for his efforts today, a most popular figure and the subject of a color picture and front page article that John Smith's tight end was by the Louisville Courier-Journal on Friday. Redmond checks off following the first down. The blitz comes and he throws incomplete, and had to pay a price too as he was rolled down by Corey Heineke, a defensive end.
Well, that time Redmond read the blitz, but he thought it was coming from the right side. He directed Frank Moreau to the right to block, and nobody came from that side. By the time Redmond turned back around, the blitz was coming from his blind.
Let's check in with Lewis.
Hey, Paul, Ivan Green came off the sideline, stood around, talked to the trainers for just a moment, the other coordinators, and then elected to go back in the game, so he looks to be okay. Back in there.
And he sets up on the near left side. Redmond throws. Boyd a yard shy of the first down. Reached out for it, made the catch. Ante Jones, waning moments of the first half, dove to prevent him from picking up the first. Got him around the shoe tops.
Well, you're going to have O'Shaughnessy, number 77, escort him off to the right. And then look at this extension. That is just a perfect place to throw the ball right in stride for Boyd. And I can tell you that a receiver really appreciates a quarterback that can hit him in stride without forcing him to extend to the point where he'll get killed by a safety.
A pause in the action. 1:25 away from halftime. Chris Redmond. His numbers continue to grow here in the first half. 215 yards in that touchdown.
And I think he solved what Oklahoma was trying to do to him. In the second quarter, he's really come on. As you can look now, he's at 10,121, moving up again. He can go right here.
May have another touchdown. He does. Oh, no. Incomplete, broken up in the hands of Boyd, and then Pee Wee Woods belted it free.
That was a perfect call, Paul. The problem here is that Redmond had to throw this ball off of his back foot. Take a look as he rolls out to his right off the play fake. He's going to throw this ball going backwards, and that ball sails because of it and that gives Woods time to get in there and break it up.
Maybe the son played a role too. Hilbert trying to kick his third field goal, hooks it left. So Pee Wee Woods' defensive effort against LaVelle Boyd right now is as large a play as we have seen in this football game so far, for it keeps Oklahoma within a touchdown.
And it was good effort to run this down. Again, look at Redmond drifting backwards as he releases the ball. And now look at all that space that Boyd has. Because he bobbles it, that gives Woods the time to run it down. Good hustle in not assuming that the play was over before it was.
He closed.
Wow. 0 touchdowns from the red zone.
It's a 22-yard completion to Zeke Parker by Redmond out of the red zone. Over the middle to the 24-yard line, and snared by Josh Norman, who is on the receiving end of Heupel's 52-yard toss and touchdown run.
And Paul, one thing about these receivers of Oklahoma is that most of them have never caught a ball before on the Division I level because they had a running offense before.
This way, almost picked by Herring. Herring had 6 if he had gotten 2 hands on the football.
Boy, and Herring knows it too as he shakes his head. Herring isn't the fastest guy, but he's got a good jump. And take a look at that jump. There's nothing here if he catches that ball, and you can see his head start to go down the minute that thing sailed out of bounds.
He had a 63-yard return against Kentucky, and they routed the SEC member Wildcats in Commonwealth on opening day. And Michael Thornton, high hurdling. So fast across the 40, close to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 22, his longest run of the first half.
And he is small, Michael Thornton. I mean, he's only 5'5", and you know, Paul, that's a tiny guy that's hard to see sometimes, and he gets around the corner because of that.
I'd never started a game in high school. Play here, Heupel, deep downfield and over the outstretched arms. His intended target at the 10-yard line, looking for Damian Mackey down there, and who had drawn double coverage.
Well, they've got 23 seconds left now. They don't have the time to have the patience to run the typical West Coast dink it off and hope for yards after the catch. They've got to go deep with this thing.
Heupel is connected on only 1 of his last 6 passing attempts. He'd started off much hotter, hit 10 of his first 12. Right through the very short arms of Josh Norman. Deep downfield.
He gator armed that one. Had his elbows into his ribs to protect from the hit before he caught it.
18 seconds. And then 19 now in our Fox Sports Net box before we get you to Kevin and Kellen at our Nissan halftime report. Later tonight, Nebraska and Mizzou. Heupel pounded as he got it away. Open. Jackson had gotten behind the defenders. There could have been a flag thrown after the hard takedown of Heupel. The pressure fierce on the left-hander.
Well, Dawson and Hargrove just all over him here, and Heupel just wings the ball up in the air. And, oh, man. See, quarterbacks get hit in the ribs a lot. You can see his little pad right there, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, Paul.
Off he goes. 1 for his last 8. Ferguson's last effort, only 15. This one very solid and out of bounds at the 11-yard line is Jackson. It's a fine punt of 44 yards without a return. So Louisville, the tick of the clock remaining, is going to go into halftime leading Oklahoma in the Sooners' very first trip ever in the storied history of that program to the city of Louisville. They will lead at intermission Redmond's back on. Chris Redmond has 1 touchdown today, could have had 2. And elects to down it on one knee, and this one is halfway through. Billed as the Louisville Air Show. We have seen a lot today out of both Bobby Stoops, Oklahoma Boomer Sooners, as well as John L. Smith's offense, the Cardinals flying. Here it is Zeke Parker to put Louisville in front, 13-7. Parker from Redmond before a capacity crowd on a gorgeous afternoon in the Bluegrass State. Just ahead, Kevin and Kellen, our Nissan halftime report. And here is Lewis with Coach Smith.
All right, thanks a lot. Coach, with these 2 quarterbacks, we expected to see the high-flying offense, maybe big yardage, big numbers. What's happening?
Well, I think it's because the defenses are playing good ball and they're keeping it in front of you. I don't know. We just have to execute better offensively for ourselves. We've dropped, 2 TD passes right now, and we've got to do a better job of taking what we've got, making the plays.
What has been the problem in the red zone?
They're lining up and they're giving us some things that are a little bit different. And gosh darn, we're getting some different leverages than we're used to practicing against, and so we've got to come up with a few adjustments here in the second half.
All right, we'll go in and talk about it. Thanks for stopping, Coach. And let's head now to our College Football Saturday studio, the Nissan Halftime Report with Kellen Winslow and Kevin Frazier. Kevin, it's all yours.
Thanks a lot, Lewis, and you always love it when you can get a gosh darn in there. Welcome to the Nissan Halftime Report. Plenty to get to, and as always, I am joined by the Hall of Famer, Kellen Winslow. And Kellen, okay, Chris Redmond isn't one of your Heisman quarterback candidates, but he is a very good QB.
He's very impressive, Kevin. And what impresses me about this young man is his presence in the pocket and the timing that he has. He has great knowledge of this offense. Watch this, drop back, 1, 2, 3, a little shuttle step, boom, the ball is in the air. Again, drop back, get rid of the football. This is a great way to keep protection, keep the rush off the quarterback because he's getting rid of the football. So it makes it an easy job for his offensive lineman. Plus, it doesn't hurt the fact that he's 6'3", 225, so he's a big target back there.
Yeah, and Redmond crosses 10,000 in his career in the first half. All right, let's up.
College football Saturday from Louisville. Our second half set to unfold from the Big 12. The Sooners and Conference USA member Louisville. A welcome back alongside Trevor Maddich. I'm Paul Kennedy. Josh Heupel, the newest Sooner quarterback, has thrown a touchdown pass today. Chris Redmond has one as well. But this has been more substance over style. This has had its defensive moments. There have been a lot of head banging out here today.
There has been. There have been crunching hits by both defenses, desperate to stop those high-powered offenses from getting big plays on them. Look at Oklahoma just hammering people left and right. 1, 2, 3 guys around that football. Louisville, same way, as Alan Carroll knocks Pee Wee Woods' hat right off of his head right there. This has just been a hard-fought defensive battle, Paul, which is the opposite of what we expected it to be when we started this afternoon.
Donovan Arp for Louisville, a couple of sacks. He's also caused a fumble, and here a look at the numbers.
Now look at the drive start average as well as 2 turnovers by Oklahoma. Louisville should have a route going on here, but 4 times inside the red zone, Louisville has 0 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 2 missed field goals.
Louisville will be kicking off to the Boomer Sooners as our second half is set to begin. John Hilbert. The difference so far, 2 of his field goals. He's attempted 4. Consistently kicking the ball into the end zone. And again this time to start the second half. And Lewis Johnson talked to both coaches at intermission. Let's see what's going on. Lewis?
Well, Paul, I talked to Bob Stoops first, and he said he was upset about the lack of execution. I asked him if he was concerned about his offensive line not protecting Josh Heupel. He said not at all. He said Heupel actually has held on to the ball a little too much, wants him to get that ball released a little better, wants better execution. Now, on the other side, John Smith, of course, said he was frustrated that they only got 2 field goals out of 4 attempts in the red zone. So he's going to try and figure out the coverage that's been disguised to him. They worked on that at the half. Paul?
In motion, Curtis Fagan. The hitch in the flat. And he's able to shake his way free for a first down. Out close to the 40-yard line. He reached the 39-yard line. Courtney Dinkins ran him out of bounds. They've thrown him to the flat repeatedly and effectively today on the Sooners.
Well, Paul, they're going to their staple right here. A little screen outside. Basinger, the left tackle, comes out to block. Doesn't get anybody hit, but he gets in the way. And the yards after the catch are what Mike Leach and this offense want to have happen right now.
That's a gain of 19 for Curtis Fagan, former defensive back. The Sooners. Heupel again with time, able to connect with Chris Hammonds, his big tight end. They pick up 5 there, and that is for Hammonds, his very first catch of the afternoon. Heupel's numbers in the first half. He finished much cooler than he started, only connecting on 1 of his final 7 passing attempts into the second quarter. On second down, the slant. Fagan with a couple of grabs to work it out near midfield, and Harris, the middle linebacker, on the stop this time.
Ball strategy here, stretch the field. Last time they went to the far left sideline. This time they're going to throw out to the far right sideline. The purpose of that in a halftime adjustment is to see what the Louisville defense is going to do to counteract spreading all over the field.
Oklahoma's been able to run the ball today. Luttrell and Thornton in the backfield, and the Cardinals jump. A free play. Going deep. The catch made by Jackson. He scores a touchdown. 52 yards. Heupel. Another bomb to Jackson. The play will stand.
Touchdown stands.
We are tied.
Well, that was just an awesome play right there. It was outstanding coverage by Antonio Roundtree, but he doesn't make the play on the ball at the end when the thing comes down into Jarrell Jackson's hands.
Duncan to give Oklahoma the lead. And Panther to snap the ball. Patrick Fletcher. The hole for the left-footed Duncan. The boomer back in center. Jackson makes the catch. Heupel his second 52-yard scoring strike. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. The Ohio River with the Sooners in town at an exclamation point to start the second half. 52 yards a second time today by Josh Heupel.
First one was a catch and run. This one was 52 all the way in the air, Paul.
Louisville has surrendered big plays this season. Cost him a loss last week to Illinois. Parker wrapped up and taken down on the special teams hustle of William Barty. Here again, Louisville jumps, and Oklahoma gets a free play.
It is a free play. And because of that, he just throws deep. Heupel all the way down. This is actually outstanding coverage, but there's some jostling down there. Roundtree loses his balance as Jackson bumps into him, and Roundtree, therefore, is not able to make the play on the ball. Right there's the contact. And that throws off Roundtree just enough.
Mirror images of each other. Heupel, the left-hander. Redmond, that touchdown pass, the 66th of his career. Moreau taken down for a loss. The adjustments that Oklahoma has made defensively to stop Frank Moreau, who was loose early, but as his last 4 carries have gone for -3.
They're blitzing the middle linebacker as soon as they see Moreau take a step up to take the handoff. Torrance Marshall is shooting his gun into the gap to keep Moreau from getting up ahead of steam.
He remains the running back. A long time tipped incomplete. May have been Kalmus. Looking the entire time for Ivan Green, who has been taken out of this offense largely by the Sooners today.
You're right, Paul. And if he didn't have the time to throw there, he would have been absolutely drilled because it was Ivan Green all the way that held his attention. And there were two defensive backs in that zone squeezed up against Green. No way that ball could have been caught.
Green only has a couple of receptions today. Needed 5 entering this game to become Louisville's all-time leading receiver in terms of catches.
Well, now you've got a momentum problem here, Paul, because you've got 3rd and 11 right now in a situation where Oklahoma comes out, gets a big play for a touchdown to open the second half. And now if Louisville goes 3 and out here, it's a huge momentum shift over to the Sooners.
3-receiver formation. Out of the backfield, Moreau. And it is 3 and out. Mike Woods was up from the secondary. The Cardinals are going to punt.
And Oklahoma's starting to swagger. That's a swagger, Paul, that they haven't had in Norman for a number of years. But they're starting to pick it up today. And this is a good Louisville offense that they've stopped here today.
Jarrell Jackson will field this punt of Chris Savori. The all-time leading punt returner in the history of Sooner football. They go for the block. Very nearly got it. Jackson on the return. Got about 5. And the stop is made by Brian Gaines. Special teams. Well, we have a moment. Tomorrow, NFL This Morning. Charlie Batch, silver and blue out of Detroit. Making music in Motown with those 2 wins by Bobby Ross and the Lions. Detroit's in a place no one thought they would be. Atop the NFC Central. This guy is so competitive. Look at these numbers.
Picking up slack from missing Barry Sanders out there. Taking it upon his own shoulders.
Heupel from his 35. Thornton gets about 6. Mike Gantos, the defensive tackle for the Louisville Cardinals. On the stop, on a warm day, close to 90 degrees today in Louisville, Kentucky.
Big Ramon Richardson taking a cool break out there.
Add in and Hammond in the slot now. The 3rd sack of the game by the Cardinals, the first by the freshman, Michael Josiah. He got a fabulous jump on the snap of the football.
Well, Josiah's listed, he's right up here. Look at the jump he gets. He's listed at 240, but he's really only about 220 pounds, going against a guy that's about 300. And when he gets that kind of a jump, the left tackle Basinger just doesn't have any chance to get in front of him. And he puts his head down and drives Heupel into the ground.
Between he and Sexton, they've spent a lot of time in the backfield. Floated out, flag in. Head-to tackle by Bud Herring. Hunting Michael Thornton in the flat.
Paul, that's normally a chest tackle. On Thornton, it's a head tackle because his head is where most chests are.
And our referee, John Lewis, signals holding.
On the offense, penalties declined.
And that will be declined, the penalty against Oklahoma. Collarden did Herring.
Well, look at his head. This poor little guy, he's only 5'5", and here comes Herring, and whoa! Drags him right to the ground.
Sooner or later, you have to stop saying he's 5'5".
Well, you know what?
He can really play.
Yeah, he can play. He's very powerful in his lower body, his hips and his legs. Gives him acceleration.
Dynamic player. High snap, Ferguson tumbles this. It bounds in front of Jackson. He must let it go. The Sooners will pick up on a couple of yards on this. Michael Thompson downs it. A pause in the action. Oklahoma with a 3rd quarter touchdown to lead. Fox Sports Net College Football Saturday. The Twin Spires, famous around the world, of nearby Churchill Downs. And these these two teams off here in the second half, Louisville and Oklahoma. And the skill of spreading the offense by Redmond, the way he has moved the ball around to this stable of receivers.
And that stable of receivers, Paul, is one of the finest in the nation, not just because of their quarterback, but in and of themselves. Those guys can all play.
3 and out the first go around for Redmond in this half. Jackson takes the handoff. Redmond is leveled as he let it go too. Back comes Jackson. This is a very physical football game. Corey Callens, as that man Jackson took the handoff from Redmond, leveled the Louisville quarterback.
Redmond's now a blocker, but look at the start and stop of Jackson. How does he escape here? He stops, he goes again, and then he cuts back underneath. And Paul, that ability to stop and start make him electrifying when he gets into the open field.
And you saw that was Callens who got back up and also made the tackle for Oklahoma. Gain 9, however. Play action. Deep down the boundary for Jackson. Well covered on the play by Mike Woods. That ball was in the air for 50 yards, and Woods was stride for stride with Jackson. College football Saturday next week. We will be in the Liberty Bowl. Memphis, whose defense has played so well today facing Tennessee. Kellen Winslow, look out. The Tigers and the Tigers. The Aggies of A&M ranked 5th in the nation take on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech and Oregon. Up to Seattle to face Rick Neuheisel. Moreau to midfield. Frank Moreau breaks free for 20. It's the first time in a long while that the senior running back has been able to bust loose.
Not unexpected, Paul. Look at Moreau lower his shoulder and the momentum that he's got as he breaks through. Now, he's going to break a couple of arm tackles as he goes through, but it's momentum, it's inertia. You do not want to be in front of Frank Moreau. You got to hit him from the side, just like Rideau did right there when he made that tackle, or you'll get killed.
His longest run of the day. That earned 21 of those 65. Redmond. Ford slipped the tackle of Jones to the 15-yard line. Kalmus had to make a touchdown-saving stop as Lavelle Boy got free of the defender and Ante Jones.
Ante Jones, Paul, remember, he had a bad ankle during spring, sprained it again at the beginning of summer camp. He's getting used to the speed of game day again now, and right there he just misjudges where Boyd's going to be. And Boyd is not supposed to be a real fast guy, but he has got moves and shiftiness that make his quarterback, Chris Redmond, thrilled with that result.
A gain of 33 yards. Redmond throws to Jackson. Jackson. Touchdown. Chris Redmond firing his second touchdown strike of the afternoon. The very dangerous Arnold Jackson.
And give credit to the play calling there. They singled him up on Rocky Kalmus, the linebacker, for a tremendous mismatch in favor of Louisville.
Louisville will go for 2 to attempt to make this a 21-14 game. The ball spotted at the 3. A 3-receiver set to his right. The shovel pass to Jackson, who scores. Jackson scores the touchdown and takes the shovel pass for the 2-point conversion. And it's Louisville by a touchdown.
Well, he's going to juke challenge the same guy that drilled him on the reverse. This time they juke him, and it's a 2-point conversion. Here's a touchdown, Paul. Great play calling that gets a mismatch. Arnold Jackson, the wide receiver, on Kalmus, the linebacker. Now, this guy here is a wide-out linebacker, 70-pound difference. The linebacker cannot keep up, and that is a great job of the chess match by Louisville's offensive brain trust. There's no way that Kalmus can keep up with Jackson in that situation. And Redmond knows that he picked the right guy and read that defense perfectly.
John Hilbert. The kick from his 35. First time today we should have a return. Brandon Daniels belted down at the 17-yard line. Hustle on special teams by Ryan Wood.
Paul, look at how many games he's got multiple touchdowns here. This guy knows how to find the end zone, and they struggled in the first half in the red zone. 0 touchdowns for 4 attempts. But the more drives Redmond has, the more he's going to find a way to get it in no matter what the defense does. This guy is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate.
And his offense leads all of college football in yardage and in scoring. And leads Oklahoma here too. Thornton shifts. Throwback underneath, incomplete. Through the hands of Curtis Fagan. On our Buick scoring drive, this the 5th scoring change today. We're going back and forth between Conference USA member Louisville and from the Big 12, of course, the Boomer Sooners. For all the latest information on Conference USA football, including the stats, the game stories on every game, the box scores, and much more, check out the league's official homepage at c-usa.org. Josh, his first incompletion of the second half. And his second, as he was hunting Brandon Daniels over the middle. And it's quickly 3rd down.
And that ball was a little hot. Heupel wanted to get rid of that ball. The last play, he got hit by his old friend Donovan Arp again. This time it was good protection, but Heupel is knowing right now, paying attention to where Arp is. And Bob Stoops right now knows that his offense has got to get something going.
Against the blitz. Courtney Dinkins wraps up Brandon Daniels, and this hand for the Louisville Cardinal defense. You see his numbers today as he chases a Congressman, J.C. Watts.
Paul, you talk about the difference in styles here. Right now, already, Oklahoma has more completions in a season after 2.5 games than in 32 of the last 46 years.
Ferguson to Jackson, already to midfield. And as Kevin Frazier pointed out at the outset of Fox Sports Net's College Football Saturday, more completions already this season than the Boomer Sooners posted in each of their 6 national championship years. Baseball Thursday, the Braves and the Mets. The Diamondbacks out west hosting the Padres. And then Friday, a very special edition of Baseball Thursday to open up the final weekend of the millennium. The Cubs and the Cards, the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Play action. Redmond. Jackson coming back to the ball in front of Mike Woods. They're quickly, as a matter of record, the pennant races today. The Braves and the Mets and the Reds chasing the Astros. It's been fabulous in the Central. Thursday and Friday on Fox Sports Net with a little Sosa McGuire icing on that cake.
Sosa McGuire icing. The big sticks.
Trips to the near side. And they pound away with Moreau as flags come out.
Look at that struggling in there. Look at the push on both sides. Both of these teams playing their guts out.
Moreau with a lot of leg drive. He benches 400 pounds. This is a very strong man. And Oklahoma was in the neutral zone. It could have come with the press coverage they were giving the wide receivers. The corners walking up. The line judge threw the flag. Way out on the near boundary. They get into that neutral zone, that draws the penalty marker.
It's hard for the cornerbacks to see when they're up close. They're far away from that ball.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
And it's easy when they're wide to line up just a couple inches over. The wide receivers are used to being on the line of scrimmage. The corners are used to having some cushion. And when they come up too tight, it's hard for them to judge.
Oklahoma digs in. Redmond nearing his 20th 300-yard passing day. May get it here for Jackson in the end zone. No, he got a pick instead. Rodney Rideau took it away in the end zone. Oklahoma has the football back.
Well, Redmond, a rare misread. He thinks he's got pure man-to-man coverage. And you're going to see Jackson from the right of your screen. And the safety, Rideau, is too close for him to make this throw the way he made it. This is a throw to make when the safety is farther off to the left side of the field. Rideau, number 45, is in perfect position to pick this off.
And the first turnover, as you see, suffered by Redmond and the Cardinals this afternoon. Again into the flat. Into the arms of Daniels. Daniels up with a first down out to the 38-yard line. And we have a flag, and the penalty is against Oklahoma. Holding. John Lewis and this Big 12 Conference officiating crew.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains first down.
That really hurt because Bobby Stoops had a first down and excellent field position near his own 40.
The field position has been a big problem, Paul, for Oklahoma. In the first half, their average drive start was their own 20. Now they're inside their own 20, and that's been the Louisville defense advantage. Oklahoma has bogged down when having to sustain long drives.
Heupel with a 4-receiver formation. Backing up, throws incomplete. They had a receiver open cutting across the middle, and Amy and Mackey let him down.
That would have been a difficult catch, but you got to make that catch.
Sideline warning on Louisville. That's their first one.
And Louisville with a sideline warning.
And these are creeping up too close. The players have to be 6 yards back of the sideline. See, this white part is off limits. This part the coaches can be, and the players have to be farther back, 6 yards.
Usually you have an assistant coach nicknamed a get-back coach to look out for that on the sideline.
Well, the players hate that guy, though, because they're always yelling at him.
On second down, Heupel over the middle. Caught for a first at the 35. That's a gain of 19 yards. And a reception by Brandon Daniels, who is enjoying a career day today.
Look at the blocking. What you're going to see is just great protection that allows Daniels the time to get and sit in that zone, into the gaps. They run a twist and bunch it up. Now, right there's a bunch of guys. And when that O-line bunches up the D-line like that, it gives those receivers time.
That was Antoine Savage rather than Brandon Daniels. On first down, Thornton, hemmed in. And a long flag thrown in behind him. The ground caused that fumble. Chad Lee wrapped him up. That flag came clear from the sideline. And it's holding again.
Well, this
on Oklahoma.
It's been Oklahoma's problem all day. They've had good stretches and bad stretches. When you have good stretches, you get some first downs, and then have a bad one and be forced to punt. You don't sustain for scoring. And that's what's happened so far to Oklahoma today.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
The fourth flag on the Sooners.
Well, if we take a look at this, the Louisville defense on a draw is twisting in there. And a lot of times when you've got twisting happening on a draw, the offensive line reaches out and grabs.
Very few penalties today. The second in this half for the Sooners. Heupel throws, caught again. Stumbling for a first down. Twice he has gone to Antoine Savage. And the sophomore comes up big with a gain of 24.
And Heupel showing that great touch that Redmond shown earlier. This ball has got a loft to get over Brown, the linebacker. And so he puts just enough air on it so number 35 can't reach up right there. And it goes right over into Savage's hands. Very nice touch delivering that football.
263 yards now for Josh Heupel in just his third start for the Sooners. Adding to it. Flip to Mackey. Belted out of bounds down at the 44-yard line. Zach Butler, the corner, up to belt him out of bounds.
Well, Heupel doing an excellent job of finding the open receiver.
200-yard passer, very rare in Oklahoma. He threw for 420 last week in the win over Baylor. That was the most ever by a Sooner quarterback. Where have you gone, Jamel Holloway? Throws again. Good move. Shaking free is Mackey to the 21-yard line. Courtney Dinkins on the stop, and a flag thrown, and a late hit. And it's on Louisville after the gain of 23 on the completion to Damian Mackey.
Now Louisville's defense is getting a bit frustrated, Paul.
Mike Gantos, the captain for Louisville, number 74.
After the play was over, personal foul on the defense, unnecessary roughness. That's half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Well, I saw Michael Thornton on the ground with Gantos standing over him. Let's see what happens right here.
Come at the end of the play.
This is West Coast offense, catch and run now. How many times have you seen Jerry Rice do this? Great move by Mackey on Butler there, and another one, and finally Dinkins and Harris are able to corral him in the middle, but they're trying to get that done with these little completions.
Heupel throws, touchdown, Damian Mackey. Back and forth we go. The lefty Heupel, Mackey open.
Mackey runs a long way as he comes across. You'll see number 20, Bud Herring, the linebacker, just at the last second, right there, trying to make a play on the ball. And he misses that, and that causes the touchdown.
Mackey hauling in Josh Heupel's third touchdown pass of the game. An extra point by Tim Duncan. And we are tied 21-21. Heupel living up to the hype. Locked up late in the third quarter. Fox Sports Net College Football Saturday in Bob Stoops' first season in Norman.
I believe in, some people come in and say, well, wait till we get my players in here that we've recruited. These are my players now. The day I took the job, those seniors became my guys. And I feel that way, and I felt like that since day one, and all our coaches do. These are our players. Those seniors don't want to wait until 3-4 years. They don't want to wait to win. This is their last chance to win. So we owe it to them to come out and try and be prepared and do all we can to win right away this year. And I believe we've got enough players and a good attitude, and if they embrace and do the things we want them to do, then we should be able to win.
He has won wherever he has gone, has Bobby Stoops. Of course, playing for Hayden Fry at Iowa when they went to the Rose Bowl. Sensational turnaround with Bill Snyder at Kansas State. Rather remarkable.
And he goes and is the defensive coordinator for Steve Spurrier in Florida, has the #1 defense in the country and the SEC, and they bring in also the #1 offensive coordinator from the SEC, from Kentucky, Mike Leach, together on this staff at Oklahoma for the first time.
Redmond play action. Under pressure throws. Lavelle Boyd can't come up with it this time. And the blitz of William Barty coming belted Redmond off his feet. Barty shoved him. What's remarkable about this is the fact that Oklahoma has not been to a bowl game in 5 years. If Stoops is able to take them to one this year, he'd be only the third coach in Oklahoma to reach a bowl game in his first season.
They lost to my BYU Cougars in that last bowl game they went to. Been trying to schedule them ever since, but can't get it worked out.
Moreau got a block. And Arnold Jackson, too, the wide receiver, did a good job of holding his block on the corner, Mike Woods. And that's very close to being a first down. The wide receiver's often only in the spotlight for catching balls, but he helps out Moreau blocking.
He does, and he's finally got a guy in Mike Woods that's his own size to block out there. Look at Moreau's head of steam, momentum, always falling forward. The pros like this guy because of his combination of power and speed.
Trouble with the handoff, and Moreau, after Redmond had bobbled the snap from center from Jason Padgett, was late arriving at the hole. But it may not matter. It looks to be the first down. That is the first.
That's what Moreau brings to it, Paul. His confidence is finally matched up with his physical abilities. And I think his confidence still isn't quite where his physical abilities are. I think he still gets the impression that in the open field, he almost expects to be caught from behind when, frankly, there are very few people on the Oklahoma defense that can catch him from behind at the 4.5 speed in the 40.
Cut back into nothing. There was absolutely nothing there. Running behind Aaron Dardzinski, his left guard, and Cornelius Burton stuffed it for the Sooners. 275 pounds, the senior captain. The only senior up front for Oklahoma.
And he looks like a football player, Paul. He's one of those guys, you want him to be the first guy off the bus for the opposing team to see him, because he looks powerful.
Blitz coming again. Redmond against it. Ivan Green got his right hand on the ball. Not enough to hold on to it. Roy Williams, strong safety, was close by.
That sets up another 3rd and 10. Louisville's had a lot of 3rd and long situations today. A lot of long passes down the field haven't been completed. They've had runs that have been stuffed for 2nd and long. And here they go again, 3rd and 10.
Boyd and Parker atop your screen. Jackson to the bottom. They throw his way and overshoot him badly. And Louisville will have to punt to Oklahoma, which will get the football back late in the 3rd quarter. That means Josh Heupel, with 3 touchdown passes in this game already, will be back on the field. Chris Savori to kick to the senior, and Jarrell Jackson has hauled in a 52-yard scoring strike today. One of those 3 touchdowns. Been a big play day for the Boomer Sooners. 8 men coming on the snap of the ball. From his 26. Wrapped down at the 33-yard line. On the stop, Corey Wallace. A 49-yard punt with a 6-yard return. Next Saturday, we open up the month of October in Memphis. The Tigers of Mizzou, the Tigers of Memphis, whose defense ranks 2nd in Conference USA for Rip Shear. The Aggies and Texas Tech in the Big 12, and then the Pac-10. The Ducks and the Huskies. Thornton wrapped up. Memphis are giving Tennessee all it can handle today. Now the Vols and the Tigers tied 10-all in the 3rd right now, we were told.
Just a little toss to the little man, Michael Thornton. And he turns the corner, but not quite. He won't break arm tackles because he doesn't have the inertia that Frank Moreau does.
No gain on the play. Fagan in motion. Hypo guns that. He can really put some zip on it, and he finds Josh Norman over the middle for a first down. When he came on his recruiting visit, Josh Heupel, when this staff, they said they had all of 10 days to sign a quarterback, and they went after him because he was a junior college kid. Rather than going out and touring the campus, he spent 7 hours with Mike Leach doing nothing but looking at videotape of what Kentucky had run on offense last year, this multiple attack. Just wanted to play football. They found their man in Norman. Under pressure, skips it up. He could hear the footsteps coming. Arp was there, still again.
And Paul, that studying is what makes him good. I mean, he didn't want to go out on the town. He wanted to know what the reads were going to be in this offense. And even under pressure, knowing where to throw that football is going to put him in a situation where he can use his skills. He watches hours of film. You can't get the feeling in film of getting drilled by Mike Gantos. But watching that film, a coach's son studying the game is what makes this guy so good.
Hit again. Throws the slip screen to Jackson, who won't get out of his backfield. This game has had it all. Big plays offensively, outstanding quarterbacks, and wicked licks on defense. We head to the fourth. It's a good one today in Louisville. Football Saturday from the campus of the University of Louisville. Ponder this. 21-21 as we head to the fourth. Lewis Johnson down on the field. Upstairs, Trevor Matich. I'm Paul Kennedy. Oklahoma from the Big 12. First trip in the storied history of the Sooner program to Louisville in this gorgeous stadium on a wonderful afternoon. Third down, they need 14. Heupel still with time, has a man open. It's caught at the 15-yard line. Antoine Savage to the 5. Another huge play, and again for 52 yards.
And Paul, this is on the safeties. John L. Smith told us yesterday that he's concerned about the safeties in communication, being in the right place. You can see that there's nobody out there in that deep third. That's the safety's job, and there he goes right there, Dinkins, jogging up. He's got to hustle after that. You know, that's the problem that they've been having in the middle of that Louisville secondary.
Put an asterisk on that play if Oklahoma goes on to win. The fade route in the end zone. Caught, another touchdown, the fourth of the day for Heupel. Damian Mackey. And the Sooners take the lead early in the fourth quarter.
Mackey ought to be proud of that. That was a big-time catch of a big-time throw on tight coverage by Holman.
Extra point by Tim Duncan. And a busy day today. Josh Heupel twice has found Damian Mackey in the second half. The Sooners again in front. Offensive line coach Mark Mangino, Oklahoma.
Well, you've got a busted play. But because of that, well, this on the touchdown, that is just a big-time throw. Holman was right there, and a great catch. Good concentration by Mackey. Just a fade route, and this is throw in the bucket. And that is the drill they do, where they throw the ball up into the air in practice, down into a bucket that would be right there, and the ball comes down in.
The record for touchdown passes in a season at Oklahoma is 14. This is the third game of the year for Bobby Stoops in this new offense. And Heupel. Cale Gundy, by the way, if you're a Sooner fan, worth your crimson and cream, you would know that. Zeke Parker cannot get free at the 15-yard line. An injury update. It's important, Lewis.
It sure is, Paul. This is a blow for Louisville as they begin to struggle now. Antonio Roundtree, you see with the ice pack and the wrapping around his right shoulder.
Yep.
Well, that right shoulder is sprained. He's done for the day, and he has been venting his frustrations as the game goes on here, Paul.
Big loss. He injured that shoulder early in the game. You saw him hobble up trying to play through it. Could not. Now trailing by a touchdown. 6 lead changes and a tie today. Frank Moreau stood up in the hole and pushed back. Ryan Fisher there. Time for a game break in our College Football Saturday studios. Here's Kevin Frazier.
Paul, we go from the Cardinals to the Cardinals. Stanford and UCLA. Backup quarterback Joe Borchard hits Durrani pitch for the touchdown. Look at Stanford putting it on UCLA 21-3.
2 weeks in a row for Stanford. The Cardinal, a major surprise. The Cardinals here trying to get out of a hole. And Moreau comes up about a yard shy of the first down. Out of the backfield. They're going now to Moreau taking the wide receivers, Trevor, and running them down the field.
Well, because they get a physical mismatch. Moreau with that size can run with the wide receivers. And so he puts them outside on the defensive backs, and they're hoping for a big catch and run, which is what Oklahoma's been doing to them.
Moreau today with a couple of receptions. They go with his nearly 80 yards running. What a catch by Jackson to pick up the first down. Looks by the spot that he got it. So agile to come back for that ball.
Well, he's a small guy with power in his legs, and so if you just take the science of it, the inertia, when you've got this much power moving less weight, you can get it going a lot faster. That's Jackson's big physical gift.
His 6th reception from Chris Redmond. He picks up a most important first down. Beats the ball away too from his hot counterpart in Heupel. Gain of about 1 on the play. Rocky Kalmus along with Ramon Richardson. Trip him up. Ramlin.
Well, he's got no blood on that chin strap. Look at where his face mask ends. A lot of guys will have a face mask that'll be extended lower, but Redmond said that that inhibits him when he turns to look across his body. And he would rather take the risk of getting hit in the chin and protect it with a big chin strap than not be able to see the field by not being able to turn his head.
Throws pick. Pee Wee Woods. The second interception of the day of Redmond. Oklahoma's got the football.
Pee Wee Woods has it on Chris Redmond here. He's got all the protection he needs, but he's looking at one place the whole time. And Boyd just went up, turned around, waited for the ball, and Redmond takes forever to deliver that football. And so Pee Wee Woods just said, okay, as long as you're going to telegraph it like that, I'm going to pick it off.
And now Heupel, who has thrown 4 touchdown passes in this game. Inside, Thornton gashes him down to the 22. Mike Leach, the offensive coordinator, studied at Brigham Young, was at Kentucky, of course, with Hal Mumme, was with Hal the last 10 years, and had Tim Couch there. Very bright guy. And this is that Kentucky Wildcat offense that he has installed and that Heupel runs so well. First down, 16-yard line. So twice they have spread the field and run the ball inside.
And Paul, when you run plays twice in a row, 3 times in a row, that's Mike Leach saying, look, I know what you're doing, and I know how to beat you. With Kentucky, they had the #1 offense in the SEC. You bring that together with Bob Stoops, who had the best defense in the SEC, and Oklahoma has as good a brain trust as any team in the country.
Guy's got a law degree, too. Mike Leach. The tight end, Chris Hammond, to the 10-yard line. Pickup of 7, Courtney Dinkins with that collision on the 250-pound junior. The records that Josh Heupel will be erasing is that of the running backs coach, the all-time leading quarterback in OU history, and Cale Gundy. Second down. Not this time. Could not get away from Jeremy Collins, the freshman linebacker, in the hole. As Barry Switzer was saying, one thing, as Steve Spurrier Jr., the wide receiver coach there, looks on, that one thing will stand. The rushing records are certainly going to stand. The J.C. Watson, the passing records won't.
They're going to make no attempt on those rushing records.
Third down. Louisville jumps, and there was contact before the ball was snapped. Michael Josiah, we've seen him get off on a great explosion at the snap of the ball, this time premature. Across the line.
Before the snap, contact by the defense. That's offside. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Steve Spurrier Sr. brings Florida nearby there in Lexington tonight to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. And, of course, Steve Jr., one of the men Bob Stoops brought with him from Florida. Steve played wide receiver at Duke, led it there 3 years, and assisted his dad. First and goal now, following the offsides. Oklahoma looking to build a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. In motion, Fagan. Thornton spinning to the run. Justin Thomas on the step, along with Don Bibb.
That big offensive line that averages about 300 pounds a man is starting to take control now. They had trouble early with the center of that Louisville defensive line with Donovan Arp and with Mike Gantos, and now with a little running back that it's hard to find, that offensive line is taking over the middle.
Second and goal. Heupel, quarterback sneak on second effort, scores. Oklahoma rules here in the second half.
And a complete turnaround from the first, Paul. Louisville had their opportunities in the first. They feel they should have at least 3 more touchdowns, but offensive mistakes cost them those points, and now Oklahoma surges into the lead.
Heupel accounts for his 5th touchdown against John Smith's Cardinals. And flags in. Heupel has thrown for 4 and scored 1.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty.
And there's several things that make this guy good. We already talked about hours and hours of film study. He's a real student of the game, and he actually likes to watch film, Paul. It's like wind sprints, you know. You do them because you have to, but if you like wind sprints, you're weird. Well, Heupel actually likes studying film for hours, and he knows what to do with that football.
Duncan again. 21 unanswered points. The Boomer is back in Sooner, thanks to quarterback Josh Heupel.
still ahead at 7 Eastern. It's off to Columbia, Missouri as Larry Smith's Tigers host 6th-ranked Nebraska in a game that has been decided on the final play the last 2 years. Then we finish at 10 with the Pac-10, USC and Oregon. Paul?
All right, Kevin. Big Parker. They'll play this out at the 20-yard line. What a turnaround for Oklahoma as they get it rolling in the second half. What's been the difference, Trent?
The difference is that when they've had the opportunity, they've capitalized. This is a broken play, but a big play. They hold on to the football, and this leads to a touchdown. Perfect throw, perfect catch. Then another big play, an interception of Chris Redmond by Pee Wee Woods right there leads to another touchdown. This is what Louisville did not do in the first half, Paul. They did not capitalize when their opportunity was there.
Redmond has a couple of touchdown strikes of his own credit here. And now Lavelle Boyd does not hold on. And the sense is the confidence begins to ebb from the Cardinals. What did you call it? A swagger earlier.
And they had that swagger early, Louisville did. Oklahoma was kind of shell-shocked with what they found here at Papa John's Stadium, a team that they weren't used to seeing in television out there in Oklahoma, but that came in here and took it to them in the first half. But now that has shifted to the other side.
Redmond has completed only 2 of his last 8, and another flag is in. Still plenty of time for Louisville to get back into this game.
Before the snap, ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
See Redmond, let's go. Let's go, guys.
Well, this has plagued them. I mean, now they've got 2nd and 15. Remember, an offense wants to get to where they've got 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. These guys have been 2nd and 3rd and long this whole entire second half, Paul, and it's been difficult for them to recover from it.
Redmond with Moreau behind him. Frank. 25, 26-yard line. Got about 11 that time as he closes in on what would be his 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing effort to open the season.
Well, this again is speed. Take a look as he takes it off the left side of the line, and then he gets out into the backfield, and Williams just can't catch him. Williams is a safety, number 38, and he's got to wait until number 2, Mike Wood, slows him down before he can even get there.
On 3rd down now. Must reach the 32. Batted into the air, nearly picked off. A leaping effort, Ramon Richardson. Nearly had it laying out for the football. And the defense has done its job once again for the Sooners.
Ramon Richardson, they call him a round mound. He's 6'1", 293, number 61, and there. Well, that's actually. The ball gets tipped way up in the air. And boy, that could have been a tip and a pick as Ramon comes through. Not tall, but made the big play that time.
Chris Savori. Drive the ball. Jackson calls for the fair catch and will draw the flag for interference. Brian Gaines got too close. And that will sting again. They'll tack this on from the 42-yard line. And it's getting away from the Cardinals.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick on the kickers, 5-yard penalty.
And John Smith appreciates the heart and hustle, even though it may have been overly aggressive.
Well, that heart and hustle has got him right now to a point where they've made some mistakes. You've got to give him 2 yards to catch that. And at this point, they're still in this game with Chris Redmond, but they cannot make any more mistakes.
A 5-touchdown performance by Heupel, and the dangerous Thornton. Cracked by Michael Josiah as he comes across midfield. Another man who could pass a shot, the former All-Pro linebacker Seth Joyner, is the guest Tuesday on Hardcore Football with Ronnie, Bill, Mr. Pitts. Joyner, a 3-time Pro Bowler, 13 years in the National Football League. Front and center Tuesday on Hardcore Football on Fox Sports Network.
He's with some other hardcore guys, with Bill Moss and Those guys will have some stories to tell.
Following the gain of 6. A low snap, Thornton. Quick feet to avoid taking a loss. Linebacker Harris on the stop.
I love this view of him. Look how low Thornton's head is compared to everybody else. That's gotta hurt. I love Michael Thornton's gumption, though. You know, what was that, Paul?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't even know what that was.
3rd down. Luttrell trying to fight his way for the 1st down. An important carry here when they look at the 1st down marker. Ioki from Muskoka. Luttrell, there's Cale Gundy, who was at UAB last year with Watson Brown in Conference USA. Spent the last 4 years there and now returns to his alma mater. He had some wonderful games for Oklahoma. Josh Heupel today with 358. Now 385 officially.
Well, Cale Gundy it's kind of funny because as Heupel was breaking all of his records or getting near to Cale Gundy's records, he went to Mike Leach and jokingly said, "Hey, don't throw the ball so much, Mike." Well, guess what? That's not going to happen. This is the first time that Oklahoma has ever thrown the ball to set up the run. And Cale Gundy, even though he threw exceptionally well, they were still running to set up the pass during those years.
He apparently did not earn the 1st down. It is 4th down by the mark of the football. They're going to bring on the change just to make sure.
And this is 4 down territory for them. Up 2 touchdowns with their defense playing as well as it is, Paul. Going for the 1st down here, maintaining momentum and taking more time off the clock is the right call for Oklahoma.
Off goes the chain gang. And for Louisville with 7 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Bobby Stoops and John Smith. This play in large measure will determine what happens the rest of the way. Louisville jumps. Heupel throws. Jackson, his 5th touchdown pass of the game. Five touchdowns from Josh Heupel. 2 to Jarrell Jackson. It's 41-21. 4 unanswered touchdowns by the Sooners. They'll roll back to Norman in that Conestoga wagon and won't need a play.
And for them to be as prolific as they are with this new offense is an amazing job of coaching, Paul. Usually it takes more time to be this good.
Josh Heupel, a remarkable day today. This from 44 yards away to Jarrell Jackson. Yeah, the Heupel hype here. Josh Heupel, his 5th touchdown pass of the day. The only man previously to have thrown 5 touchdown passes in one game for Oklahoma was Josh Heupel on opening day. He has done it twice in 3 games, and this time John Smith is on the short end of it. To Los Angeles. This will be surprising. Our College Football Saturday studios and Kevin.
Guys, under 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. T. Martin trying to rally his team. He throws the interception to Fred Howe of Memphis. That led to a field goal at 16-10. Under 3 minutes, as I said. Conference USA could strike again.
They got Big Ten member Wisconsin last week, thanks to Cincinnati and Rick Minter, a sensational effort. And now Memphis playing in Knoxville, where they have never won, as Tennessee on the ropes. Goodbye national championship for Tennessee. We will be in Memphis next week with Missouri in town. Frank Moreau out to the 25-yard line. Moreau has taken a punishing beating today at the expense of hard-hitting Oklahoma. And flags. This has been frustrating now as you see Redmond counts the ball against the turf. Papa John started so promisingly, Trevor. He was leading 21-14 in the third. Oklahoma has scored 4 unanswered TDs. Just ahead, more Big 12 action. Nebraska and Missouri. Cut down by Roy Williams.
Well, the time for short passes is over. Redmond now has got to spread the field with those wide receivers and send them deep. Dicking it down the field has not been working for them this half. They have got to take their shots with only 5:55 to go.
Third down. Nearly picked off by Kalmus over the middle. It is 4th down. And the defense has taken over this game, shut out Redmond in the 4th quarter, and the offense has been sensational. Off goes Redmond.
And I'm impressed with this defense, Paul. This is a good offense. And in the first half, they moved the ball, but in this second half, it has been all Oklahoma.
Less than 6 minutes to go. Chris Savory to punt. Terrell Jackson has had a huge day today. 2 touchdown receptions from his 34. Up to the 45. Hey, Sunday Going Deep with Chris Myers comes your way. Recent Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor, one-on-one with Chris. That should be intriguing and provocative. LT and Chris, one-on-one Sunday. Prime time on Fox Sports Net. 9-time All-Pro. Lawrence Taylor.
Well, I played against him his last season. I was left tackle for the Colts, playing the Giants in the Meadowlands. That was a big thrill.
The Saints took a running back in George Rogers first, and the Giants grabbed LT in that draft. Thornton, through tired arms, gains 9. You know who's next up for Oklahoma? The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. But you did not hear Bobby Stoops or anyone in Norman even whisper South Bend. Now they must play on the road next week.
And that's another outstanding job by this coaching staff, keeping the team focused. After Notre Dame, their biggest rival, Texas, then the last year's conference champion, A&M, and yet they were focused completely on this Louisville game. And give the coaching staff credit, because they were at great risk, Oklahoma was, to get whipsawed in here if they weren't ready.
Eipel hand, and Reggie Skinner totes the ball for the first time today and is pushed back. So Skinner on, the senior, following Michael Thornton. And Nebraska and Missouri in Big 12 action just ahead. 1978, the last time that Missouri caged Nebraska. We'll get you there right after this.
There have been so many weird bounces of the ball during that series recently. Missouri wants to take their chance right now to finally put a foot on those Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Third down, they need a couple. Thornton came close. Matt Sexton on the stop.
Thornton. There's a difference between height and stature, Paul, and this guy's not tall, but he's rising above as we see Donovan Arp limping, wincing, but staying in the game. That's a tough guy right there. Still fighting. down by 3 touchdowns.
4th down, Oklahoma elects to punt it out of there. 3.5 minutes to play, as you see. And timeout will be taken by Louisville. Louisville calls timeout with 3:28 to go, and we'll slide aside as well. Nebraska and Mizzou coming up shortly. Bobby Stoops, soon to be 3-0 in his brand new tenure at Oklahoma, thanks in large measure to Josh Heupel.
Well, Heupel involved in all 6 touchdowns. He's got 5 touchdown passes, scored 1 on the ground.
52 yards to Josh Norman, now 52 yards to Jackson.
Just unstoppable. Hitting the guys that are open, spreading it around, and here finally taking it in on his own. Josh Heupel absolutely surgical in precision today. This is the game we expected out of Chris Redmond, and the defense of Oklahoma has taken Redmond out of it this second half, and Josh Heupel has taken over as the master of the air today.
Sophomore Jeff Ferguson from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. The punt. Jackson allows it to hit, and it takes an Oklahoma scoot. And it'll be whistled dead right at the 15-yard line. Our national car rental game summary. And Heupel today, actually 5 touchdown passes, and he scored 1 himself.
As you look at the passing yardage, 294 to 71, the 2 interceptions by Redmond really hurt him, and especially 28 unanswered points for Oklahoma as they finished out this game. And I mean, that's just a staff and a team taking over in a very difficult place to play.
And the smallest man on the field running the ball, Michael Thornton, very nearly had his 2nd consecutive 100-yard rushing day. You can follow Conference USA throughout the year, all the stats, highlights, information on every sport, including football, on c-usa.org. The World Wide Web, Conference USA.
Where you can also read Paul Kennedy's weekly column.
Right one. Enjoy doing that. Moreau. Ahead to the 26-yard line. Quickly back on the football following the gain on the play of 6. We are told Tennessee now back out in front 17-16 in Knoxville. Incomplete, Zeke Parker. Coverage by Pee Wee Woods, who has been at times outstanding.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Memphis is able to knock off Tennessee out there, if Elvis is still alive, he will sing the national anthem next week when the Missouri Tigers come in to play Memphis. I promise.
Next week for Louisville, Eastern Michigan from the MAC will be here, and then the first Conference USA game of the year, a trip to the banks of the Hudson to take on Army, October 7th on a Thursday night, a game we will have for you in prime time on Fox Sports Net. 7. That's J.T. Thatcher to his 44-yard line. Obviously for the Cardinals, time to regroup after this one. Successive losses and high-scoring affairs. Last week falling to Illinois, 41-36, and this week they allow 42 points, and Oklahoma gets them.
And those 3, Army, Memphis, Cincinnati, are Louisville's only 3 Conference USA road games. So they actually have a very favorable schedule heading into conference play.
Heupel remains the quarterback. This is Luttrell for 10. Seth Luttrell, 3rd-year running back. It's that clock moving again with 2 minutes to go.
And Oklahoma now getting some young guys some playing time, but they're trying to regain that killer instinct that they had in years past, Paul, because recently they just have not had it going on at the program. And now it's not just the scoring, it's not just the play on the field, but it's the attitude that they're trying to reestablish.
Oklahoma with a quality road win today. Displayed a lot of attitude. Their first road win under Bobby Stoops. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer for College Football Saturday, Roy Hamilton in Los Angeles. This afternoon's game produced by Tom Hewitt and directed by Ned Tate. From Cleveland, Ohio, our College Football Saturday studio show produced by Loy Maxson, directed by Joe Wojtus, and our Vice President of Field Operations, Andrea Jenkins. A memorable day once again, and you know there are going to be so many more to come with Bobby Stoops in Norman, Oklahoma. Jeremy Collins making life tough in waning moments. Reggie Skinner. Oklahoma resurrecting the tradition of that program. He said they were 11th last year out of 12 teams in the Big 12, and you consider the fact that they ranked 7th winning percentage through the years. Bud Wilkinson, of course.
And they've reached back to the Oklahoma tradition. Barry Switzer has already been invited in by Bob Stoops and his staff to visit with the team several times, and he has a standing invitation anytime he wants to come down there. They're reaching back to reestablish that tradition.
Chuck Fairbanks, all the great players started there. That's Mildred through the years. Our technical producer, Brett Smith. Jonathan Evans, our technical director. Thanks to Ed Green and Lenny Van Gilder today with their assistance in this telecast. Just ahead, Nebraska and Missouri. Ron Thulin, Artie Gigantino. Helen Winslow's alma mater. For Bobby Stoops, unbeaten in 3 starts as the head coach in his first year at Oklahoma. And for John Smith in Louisville, got to bounce back following back-to-back losses. Stoops wins on Oklahoma's very first trip here to Louisville. That's it from Louisville. Our final score, Oklahoma 42, Louisville 21. For Trevor Matich, along with Lewis Johnson, I'm Paul Kennedy. Stay tuned. Coming up next on Fox Sports Net, Nebraska takes on Missouri. College Football Saturday, a presentation of Fox Sports Net. Now to our studio, Kevin Frazier and Kellen Winslow. Guys.
Paul, thanks a lot, and a big win for Bob Stoops. He has the Oklahoma program off and flying. Let's get you caught up on some of the other things going on, and a huge